It's Lavetta Jenkins right here for SheBusy Productions, and I'm here with the season 5 recap rundown from none other than Orange is the New Black. That's why I look a little prisony today, because we're going to be going over these case notes we found in the guard's office. All right, let's get into it. Now, this series started off exactly where the other one left off. Episode 1, it's the riot that sparked the minute the other season 4 ended. So it hasn't been any time lapse. Everything is just like the continuing time frame. So let's start there. Piper and Alex walk up on Daya with the gun and they split. They are not here for it. And they want to, you know, kind of distance themselves from whatever foolishness is going on. Now, Daya shoots one off in the air because everybody's screaming, shoot him, shoot him, shoot him. And she just kind of can't deal with that kind of pressure. So what happens is she ends up shooting the guard Humphrey in the upper thigh. The other ladies take turns kicking him. Daya starts waving that gun around. She's now sort of, because she's the gun holder, the boss, the crime boss. Okay, whatever. Gloria Mendoza rolls in, stops all this foolishness, and next thing you know, they take the guard Humphrey to Sophia Bursett's over in the beauty salon to kind of mend him, because Sophia used to be a firefighter and she's got some EMT training. All right, so after they do that, they get over there to Sophia. Sophia's like, I'm not doing this for him. I don't like him. And Mendoza's on some, hey, well, can you please just do it for me? Now, if you remember, they did have some type of a beef that happened last season. They got over it with their boys, and now, you know, they're back on the men. So Sophia says she'll do it for her, but not for anybody else. Daya keeps the gun and has now asserted herself to top dog. Tasty, Cindy, and Janae run up on Kukudio and demand justice for Poussey. Because if you can remember, and if you didn't catch the season 4 recap that I did for last year, I'll link it below. You can catch up there and then watch this one. You'll be all up to speed. They roll up on him and they're mad because he never even said Poussey's name in the press conference that he did. That's disrespectful. He's trying to, you know, kind of get a little fly at the mouth. Tasty punches him in the nose. Next thing you know, he's got blood everywhere. Now, I keep calling her Burned Chick, but I now know her name is Gina. Gina from the kitchen cuts the power on accident because the alarm has been going off the whole time. And then she cuts off the alarm. But now the whole prison has no power. Tasty makes Kukudio record a video speaking Poussey's name and saying what a good and kind person she was. When it gets to the part where it says she's murdered, he's like, I can't say that. So she flips the iPad around to herself and says, and she was murdered by C.O. Bailey and she didn't deserve that. And they make the media guy who's cowering in the corner, they make him post it so that it'll go viral and everyone will know about it. Piper and Alex are in the bathroom and they're all doing their little do or whatever, and they hear a humming, like that, like a phone vibrating. They happen to go into a stall, peek over in it, and find Kukudio's girlfriend, Linda. Remember, she works with MCC. They found her hiding in there, and they were like, oh yeah, so you can't keep hiding here. Sophia can barely keep it together, because if you remember last season, she had some serious traumas and things like that. And Gloria told her, you know, I need you to get it together for me. Wherever you keep going, I need you to stay here because you got to do this with me. They can't mend him, so they have to take him to medical, and she's gonna need Sophia's help. Sophia helps Gloria take him to medical, and she leaves Sophia there because Gloria wants to go check on Daya to make sure she stays out of trouble. Because remember, Gloria promised Daya's mom she would keep the girl out of trouble. Now, when they take the guard down to medical, they put him in a bed. Now, he's still kind of with it. They put him in a bed, they wheel the gurney in, and they put him between Suzanne And the girl, I cannot remember the girlfriend's name. I had a hard time last time. They put him in between Suzanne and the girlfriend, and he looks over at the girlfriend, and I mean, Suzanne beat the bejesus out of her because she looks a mess. Like her one eye is down here, his face all swole. He looks at her and just goes, oh God, no. And he turns to look the other way, and Suzanne's just looking at him. And so he just finally looked straight ahead and, you know, just kind of stared up at the ceiling. Now, Daya goes in the office to make a phone call. She's been kind of nervous and on edge and things lately, and it's not even looking too good for her, especially, and she's the one with the gun, and they've now taken over the prison. Daya goes in the office to make a phone call to her mom on the outside. She gets the voicemail, of course, and next thing you know, she gets hit over the head, the gun slides away, and a foot rests on top of the gun. We have no idea who has it. Not good. Episode 2 opens with a Girl Scouts, and we're now getting some backstory on young Frieda. Frieda is the rough looking one from the kitchen with the tattoo on her neck. Remember last season she had to cut that body up? So yeah, it's all circling around her and finding out her survival skills and things like that and how she learned everything. Wasn't necessarily Girl Scouts, she learned it from her father, survivalist. Not mad at you, sir. They flip over to present day Frieda, and she's working on a project in the pantry. There are 2 guards in the kitchen who have sealed themselves off from the rest of the mayhem that's going on in the cafeteria. But in the pantry is Helen, Brandy, the Nazis, and who is it? Frieda. Frieda's behind them working on something. The Nazis are trying to get them to play the F, Marry, Kill game. Because there's only 2 cops. They're thinking, well, y'all can play it with us. There's another girl in there, the blonde-haired one. I can't think of her name either. So they're playing this game, but in the meantime, Frieda's behind them, and she's working on something. I don't know what it is, but she's using like the Reynolds wrap, little serrated edge part to cut a shoelace. She's got some straws. She's in some beans. I don't really know what she's doing. And she's got a pin from the hem of her pants. No idea what's going on here. Daya wakes up and tries to act like she still has the gun. She just told the girls when they caught her in the hallway, I just needed some rest, need to clear my mind, think about a few things. Okay, whatever. Judy King is trying to convince So-So into a meeting that Maria Ruiz is having in the auditorium to see who's in charge. Now, Judy has found her way into the library where So-So is holed up protecting all the books and, you know, kind of keeping them away from people who are out here looting, rioting, and having a fit and, you know, destroying. So-So doesn't want to go, but Judy talks her into it and tries to lock the door behind her. So-So goes. I mean, she's a mental case by now because, you know, at the end of last season, she was completely in love with Poussey, and I feel bad for this girl because she just looks absolutely pitiful. Pitiful. All right, Kukudio's girlfriend Linda is following Piper and Alex around, getting on their nerves like a little lost puppy. They can't stand her and they want her to go home. In the meeting, Maria Ruiz welcomes everybody to Lichfield 2.0. Now, they pass out cell phones like they're Oprah. You get a phone, you get a phone, you get a phone. Like literally passing out cell phones. So now everybody has access to the internet. They've got access to, you know, making phone calls, Google. Like a lot of stuff is going on because they now have these cell phones. They bring the guards into the assembly like sideshow animals. And I mean chained one to another, handcuffed, all that kind of stuff. And they strip search them. This part was totally degrading, but they strip search the guards and do all kind of degrading things in front of the whole auditorium of people. The guards in the kitchen are playing F, Marry, Kill while Frieda is still building whatever this mysterious thing is. In my notes, I wrote that she was doing some MacGyver stuff. Promise you. Couldn't make this up because I was writing it as I was watching it. And it turns out what she's building is a blow dart. She blows a dart, catches one in like the back somewhere on the butt or something, and then when the other guy's looking, no, one in the neck or something, then one like in the butt area when he goes to see what's wrong with the other one. And she tells them now, you know, that the poison's gonna set in and she's the only one with the antidote. They bought it. We flash back to young Frieda and we see her camping with her father. You know, he's talking about survival tips and how will you know how to find your way and blah, blah, blah. She wakes up in the morning and he's gone. Gone. but he did leave her with a couple of tools to help find her way home. She makes a compass, she finds her way, but she does stop to go swimming, comes out of a lake full of leeches, learns a lesson, and takes herself home. He timed her and told her it had been 15 hours. What did she do? Where did she make the mistake? She told him she went swimming, and he was like, you ain't got time for these mistakes. Her father is really on some survival stuff. And then he says, kiss your mother goodnight, let's get washed up ready for dinner. And she goes over and kisses a wedding photograph because I'm assuming her mother is no longer living. All right, Tasty has a breakdown when she finds out the video that they shot with Kukudio has become a joke. It's now like an internet meme with Cindy sipping like a latte in the background with the hashtag black lattes or all lattes matter, something like that. It was really bad. She didn't feel like they got the message that she was trying to put out about Pussy. And I understand that, you know, she's heard about her friend. The Spanish girls convince Tasty and crew to add Kukudio and the media guy to the hostages. They've keeping all the guards in the bubble down in Spanish Harlem, and that's, you know, they want them to take them and put them in there as well. The guards in the kitchen let the ladies out from the pantry, hoping for an antidote. Now the girls overtake them, and Frieda skips off happy, like you know, she's just skipping off into the sunset. Humphrey has a stroke because Suzanne's ex-girlfriend blew bubbles into his IV. He suffers a stroke, and things just go from bad to worse for the one nurse that's left down there in medical and Sophia Bursett, who are trying to make sense of all this and help all the people that are down there in medical. The Spanish girls at the assembly did get Kukudio and the media guy, added them to the stage when they were in the assembly first, not the bubble, to the stage, and took a group photo with all of them, something like a family photo, so that you know, they could really post it to the media and show them, hey, we're not playing. Episode 3, we get the backstory on Kukudio's girlfriend. Turns out she was some kind of sorority sister who let one of her big sister get too drunk and freeze outside in the cold trying to pee because she wanted to go back in and see some boys. She been shady. Gloria tells Daya to stay with her and to stay out of trouble. The ladies finally get to eat a decent meal, thanks to Gloria, while brainstorming all of their demands. You know, what do you want in order to let these hostages go and to, you know, release the hold you have on the prison? C.O. Bailey is drinking himself into a stupor, watching Kukudio and Tasty's video, and then tries to turn himself into the police. He's been sitting in his car drinking. He goes to turn himself in. The police are like, yeah, right. He's like, no, I killed somebody. I'm a bad person. And they pretty much just put him in a drunk tank overnight. Nothing to see here, people. Nothing to see. Suzanne and So-So, and I can't think of her name, Suzanne's ex, declare the floor where Pussy died to be sacred. They don't want anybody walking on it. They square it off with like lunch trays and cups and some candles. Really weird. And then they lay down and kind of take a nap there. If that's what y'all want to do with your lives, honey. The list of demands goes up on the walls, and they're hoping that, you know, on the windows facing out so that the people can see them. And they're hoping to have their list of demands met. Unfortunately, prosecuting C.O. Bailey came in 9th to Hot Cheetos, Takis, and tampons. Really sad. Tasty's not happy about that. Kukudio sees his girlfriend masquerading as an inmate, and he's kind of shocked. And she's just kind of like, don't look at me. I'm trying to kind of get through this the best way I can, because Piper and Alex have made her put on inmate clothing so that she can be more inconspicuous and not become a hostage and just be able to kind of like freely move around. This was like a episode. I didn't really care for this episode because I don't like Linda. Flat out don't like Linda. Episode 4. Big Boo comes in to deliver a new bucket of food to the guards who are being stored in the bubble, and the guards want to jump her, but Kukudio couldn't because he sees his girlfriend is in the number of the people who are coming in. He doesn't want her to get harmed. Now, Gloria accidentally drops the gun out the back waistband of her pants, and everybody everybody who was in there at the time scrambles to get it, and the meth heads end up with it. Leanne and Angie, the meth heads, they end up with it, and they're like, yeah, ha, and you know, them having control of the gun was a really bad situation. While they're in there memorializing Poussey in the cafeteria, Suzanne, Soso, and Suzanne's ex hear movement up in the air vents. They think that it is Poussey's spirit. It's not. It's really, really not. I promise you, honey. It's not Poussey's spirit. What they actually hear is donuts. Donuts. You heard me. Donuts, as in Tiffany Pennsatucky Doggett's boyfriend has stowed himself up into the rafters because he doesn't want to be taken hostage. Red and Blanca are raiding offices looking for files. They find some medicine and take it, become high, and have a gay old time. The meth heads host a talent show featuring the guards. Now, the crazy cafeteria crew tries to hold a seance for Poussey, since, you know, they can hear her upstairs now. And Tasty is not with it. They ask her to join. Tasty's not here for it. She gets up, kicks one of the little trays away, and just kind of stomps off. Daya joins the peaceful protesters who are outside. The rioty ones, who are all about control and acting a fool, are inside. Everybody who doesn't want to have anything to do with it and just wants it to be over is outside on the back lawn where they, you know, used to kind of work out and walk the field. So Daya joins them, even though she's technically the one who started the protest in the first place. She now wants nothing to do with the unrest inside. Gloria joins her and calls home from her new cell phone that she got and finds out that her son Benny has been beaten pretty much to a pulp, has bleeding on his brain, and is in a coma. All right, so we've gotten to the point where they're just now alerting the governor to the hostage situation, and it's late as heck at night, even though this started happening like midday. Yoga Jones and the Nazi girls, that's what I've been calling them, the Nazi girls. It's actually Helen and Brandy. Strap Judy King to a post and parade her down the hall like she's a female Jesus. Some kind of way they take her up to the roof. They're thinking that they're gonna get like rescued. A helicopter actually does come, but what it actually is, it's a paparazzi helicopter just taking pictures of Judy King strapped to a cross with ketchup all over her face because she slipped and fell on the mess in the hallway, so it does look bloody. The Nazis got head wraps on, so they look a little terroristic, supposedly. And that story leaks out that Judy King is being held by Muslim terrorists at the prison. So stereotypical, I can't even deal with it. We get some backstory on Allison, the inmate who wears a hijab. Allison Abdullah. We get backstory on her, and her husband are shopping around pretty much for a second wife. The second wife agrees to let her daughter get her ears pierced. She ain't happy with it because that's her child, and the husband's like, but she's her child too. And I was like, mothers don't really like it when you do stuff to their kids without their permission, or at least talking to them. Sophia gets out and goes to the cops, turns herself in, and, you know, just doesn't want to have anything to do with it. They take her away, and I don't think we see Sophia anymore. Lichfield Idol. That's what it was called originally. Lichfield Idol happens, and they have some of the guards singing, some of the guards really kind of dancing in an interesting manner. The one guard did, he turned on red light special. They gave him back his uniform and he stripped for them, giving Leanne a very nice lap dance. I wasn't mad at him. He stripped all the way down to the bottom and took off his underwear and had a sock on his male parts. The ladies were happy. That's all they needed. All right, episode 5. Lord, we get some backstory on Janae a little bit more in this one. Gina, the burned girl from the kitchen, gets the power back to work. So they've been without power since pretty much episode 1. They've been without power, and she gets the power back on, and now they find out about the news with the Muslims attempt to murder Judy King headline. By now, the prison looks like a pig pen. It's dirty. There's food everywhere. Nobody's putting away their trays. Everybody's clothes are dirty. Nobody is really out here showering. And Gloria has a heart-to-heart with Daya about her needing to get her stuff together, about her getting her act together, because she's a mom, she's got a baby, she's got a family that love her, even though it's a little dysfunctional, but she's got this baby to live for. Daya's mom, out in the free world, Aleda Diaz, she's out there looking for jobs at a nail salon. She went to an Asian establishment to see if she can inquire for some work, and the woman told her $20, and she was like, $20 a day? Like, that's what you're gonna pay me? And she was like, no, that's how much you're gonna pay me to train you. $20 a day for 2 weeks. She pretty much told them what they could do with that job. Now, the backstory we get on Janae is we get a glimpse into why she's so militant and hates appropriation. She goes to like some kind of private school, it's like a little trade-off, maybe foreign exchange student, but into a private school, and sees all types of appropriation. They're doing Dream Girls, and there is this little, a white girl playing Effie White with a afro wig on and singing horribly. And she starts crying when she's looking at it, and her little white chaperone girl partner is like, I know, it's so moving. And Janae was just like, and it wasn't that it was moving for her, it was the fact that it was so horrible, and the fact that they just stick culture vultures like that, that she couldn't take anymore, and it really, really crushed her heart. Now, the meth heads wake up after binging on cough syrup all night and are still trying to assert their power. The stripper guard has to poop, but he can't do it with other people around. He's got some kind of problems. Gloria calls Daya's mom and acts like everything's going good, nothing's happening, just call and check up on you, girl. Pennsatucky and Donuts get caught by Boo, and Boo ain't too happy about that at all. The Nazis hold an auction for Judy and sell her on the block, and Black Cindy gets her, and pretty much Judy is like, oh, thank God, because remember last season they had been kind of cool. She's like, oh, thank God, everything's gonna be cool, you know, she's thinking everything's gonna be fine. And Black Cindy pretty much uses her like a slave and puts a belt around her neck and uses her like a dog to clip her toenails. She does. Red goes after Kukudio when she finds out the background on Piscatella. Reading these files, she found out that Piscatella had killed an inmate at his former job. Whatever prison he was at before now, he killed an inmate when he was there. Uncool. And they also found some very interesting pictures of Piscatella's that shows that he does table decorating competitions. Okay. Also in episode 5, Tasty holds a press conference outside. She was intending on letting Judy King speak, but Janae is like, yeah, no, she doesn't speak for us. And you know what? Tasty was like, you're right. Tasty takes over the press conference and says Pusey Washington was murdered by C.O. Bailey, and then lists off the demands and everything that they want. Way to go, Tasty, standing for what you believe in. The girls who are now acting as guards are using porta potties as holding cells for the guards. Can you imagine it? You have access to the bathroom, but you also have access to horribly foul smelling air. Pennsatucky accidentally, well, let me tell you how it happened. Pennsatucky and Donuts were kissing down the laundry. Two meth heads, and Tucky hides Donuts in a dryer because she'll be back. The two meth heads, Leanne and Angie, come down there and they find him and they take him out and they're like harassing him and they're going to put him with the other guards. Tucky's on her way back. And she's like, hey, wait, no, I'll take him. And they're like, no, we're going to take him up there. She gets the gun from Angie's back of her pants. It was on her belt. Leanne's mad, like, why would you even wear a belt? She's like, I don't know, I was too high. Tucky gets it, gives it to Donuts. Donuts accidentally shoots off the tip of Leanne's finger. Leanne is now heated, and I'm not even mad at her about it because her tip of her finger is gone. So Donuts runs off, he gets away, he gets past the girls at the front door with his gun in his hand. He's like, yay, I'm out, I'm free. The other guards who are standing outside see him and are like, drop your weapon, drop your weapon. And instead of dropping his weapon, you know what he did? He fainted. He fainted, and that was how that episode concluded. Episode 6. The women want Tucky to pay for Leanne's finger and for giving away the gun. The gun was their only means of security and making sure that they had hierarchy in the prison. Now they're just going to be resting on shanks, shivs, and blunt objects. Big Boo comes in playing the music from Law and Order. La di not dung 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 dung. I was dying. And she's standing there in a suit that she got from one of the guards, from one of the people from MCC or the guards, somebody. She's wearing a suit, tie, everything, and said that she's not gonna let Tucky go down without a fair trial, and she's gonna be Tucky's lawyer. That was epic. I loved it. We get some backstory on Tasty meeting her birth mom. And the birth mom, she meets her in the park and then just says, the first thing out of her mouth was, "Why didn't you want me?" And the birth mom tells her this long story about how she was 15 and she lived with her boyfriend in a dirty apartment with his aunt, and she said that if we kept it you, then we would all have to get out, so she didn't have any other choice, gave the baby away. Tasty thinks she's gonna go live with her mom. She doesn't, because the mom never told her family about her. And she offers Tasty some money. Tasty doesn't want the money, snatches all her stuff. And before she leaves, and as she's telling the mother how mad she is that she's, didn't want anything to do with her, Tasty pretty much snatches her mama's scalp almost clean off and like rams it to the hood of the car, and then just releases her, screams in her face, and storms off with all her stuff. And I felt so bad for this child because all she wanted was her mom. Now, when it comes to the girls' demands list, they did get Hot Cheetos, Takis, and tampons, but nothing else. And after they come, the reps from the governor's office are like, "So, well, when can you release these hostages?" And she was like, "Girl, bye. You didn't even say anything about Bailey." And she was like, "Well, we don't have jurisdiction over that." And she was like, not gonna work. Aleda Diaz, Diaz's mom, goes on TV to talk about the prison. She cusses a lot on live TV. This was not good. During Tasty's press conference in episode 5, she does, before she leaves, just push Judy King off, like, "Here, y'all can have her. We don't want her." So Judy King's like, "Oh my God, I've been saved." You know how they do. And Diaz is cussing a lot on TV, really messing up. C.O. Bailey visits those two guards from the previous seasons who were in that relationship. They're married and she's obviously pregnant. Now, he's coming apart, completely undone, telling them how he's a horrible person, and then he said how he just wanted to die, but everybody keeps saying that it's going to be okay. Meanwhile, Frieda is hiding in a bunker, whittling and playing chess by herself. Where this bunker even came from, I don't even know. Tasty and the crew smell a bribe about these Takis and these Cheetos, round them all up, that they've now dispersed out to everybody, round them all up, take them outside, dump them out on the ground in front of the entrance, and set them on fire. Like, yeah, that's what we care about, your bribe. Tucky confesses that she helps Donut escape. Nichols and Morello break up because Lorna Morello is out here thinking she's pregnant. Y'all know Lorna Love. But they break up, and Nichols told her nothing could grow in her room, sick and psychotic womb, or something like that. She told her it was really hurtful. But they broke up. She'll never want to talk to her again. C.O. Bailey attempts suicide at his parents' house by drinking a bunch of dye, which just so happened to be non-toxic, and he fails. And his parents are like, "But it's going to be all right." And he's like, "I wish you would stop saying that." This dude is like 2 seconds away from like getting a gun and taking care of himself. And I feel bad, but this is the lot that's been made. Frieda lets the kitchen crew into her bunker. Guess she got a little bored, let the girls in, but she told them she intends for them all to stay down there. Now, Gloria wants to go. She's like, "Yeah, I can. I got stuff to do out there." And Yoga wants to go, but Frieda thinks that they're ungrateful, and she shows them the entire bunker. Just in the beginning, because it was such a cramped place, like maybe a walk-in closet size. Everybody's like, "It's too small in here. We all can't live here." She opens up a second door, and she has taken over the entire indoor pool area that I guess the prison doesn't use anymore. And it's condo big in there. Like, it's like space on space big enough for everybody. She's got electricity, everything, and it's absolutely wonderful down there. They changed her tune after that because not too many people want to go back after they see all that. we do get a little flashback of when Poussey first met Tasty in the library, and it is absolutely sad because I miss Poussey. When they did burn that bribe, they burned it while on FaceTime with the chick from the governor's office. Like, yeah, this is what we think of your bribe. What you got to say now? And she's just like, oh, Jefferson, Jefferson, talking to Tasty. Tasty's mad, cuts it off. They go back in and seal the doors up once again. Episode 7. Tucky is playing hospitality because after her trial that Boo was her lawyer, she got community service. So now she's playing hospitality and passing out her mom's famous yellow drink. Does look a lot like pee or weird antifreeze, but she's passing out. People are loving it. And you know, the situation's kind of calming down now. Suzanne is tweaking because her routine is off. You know, Suzanne really has to go by her routines. Everything has to be the same all the time. And in this situation, it's not. Nothing's the same. Tasty and Piper plan a memorial for Poussey, and they really want it to be something wonderful and monumental. And they enlist Flocka and Maritza, who have now become YouTube famous because they're vlogging from prison and doing makeup tutorials in prison. And because you're so good with making things over, let's do that. In the last episode, Kukudio told Ruiz that she doesn't have extra time added because Piscatella didn't have time to put it in her chart. She goes, finds the chart, and then realizes, I ain't got no extra time. So instead of being all, yay, let's kill the guards and let's take over everything and run this stuff, now she's trying to be peaceful and hang out outside with the peaceful crew because, you know, she knows she ain't got no extra time. She wants to go home and see her baby. Frieda's bunch are all chilling in their new area, you know, down in that bunker, minding their business, playing Frogger, electricity, everything's good, nobody's bothering them. Lorna Morello has been really suspecting she's pregnant, even though she told Nichols she was pregnant. And I'm not sure at this point because, you know, Lorna's a little off. They have that art and craft memorial kind of thing like in the hallway. Everybody's made all their crafts, selling all their wares. And Allison and Cindy tried to recreate the daily routine for Suzanne. I think that that was really good. They put on guard uniforms and they're really trying to like boss her around like the guards would do and keeping it as close as they can to the original routine that Suzanne had. Janae is also helping Soso to cope with her loss. She's got her running, she's got her boxing. Of course, they're boxing in the cafeteria and that's getting on Tasty's nerves, but you know, everything happens for a reason. Red has been on a bender with Blanca and is now like nursing a very bad hangover. I don't know what they got into, but boy, it was bad. Nichols got a makeover from Flocka and Maritza and she looked amazing. And then Alex sat down to get one too, but listen, nobody made a better improvement this season than Nichols, and eventually Flocka and Maritza got a hold of Blanca too, and they got their hair together and did them eyebrows. Yes, girl. They had some kind of weird poetry slam thing. Really weird. There was some singing, there was some poetry. The two meth heads made off with the drinks, and then everybody got mad. Little fights broke out. Big Boo saves Linda, Capudio's girlfriend, from getting her necklace jacked. When they were in the little art and craft fair, Big Boo got her a necklace. She saved her from getting it snatched by some chicks who wanted it, and I guess she gave her some thank you sex on somebody's desk. Okay. Red found a phone in Humphrey's locker and she needs to use it, but it's locked. She can't get it, needs a fingerprint. Red gets Blanca to distract the nurse down in medical so that she can use Humphrey's finger to unlock it. She uses his finger to unlock it, but it keeps locking up really quickly. So next thing you know, she's telling Blanca like, come on, we can go, we can go. She done cut off the tip of his thumb and taped it to a pencil so that she can unlock it whenever she wants. It's crafty, but gross. Soso ends up building a book labyrinth in honor of Poussey, and it is just beautiful. There's books all in the hallway, hanging from the ceiling on little ropes, and you can just come and read a book, leave a book. It's really amazing, the tribute that she made for Poussey, and it adds a little character to the place. I'll say that. It adds a lot of character. And because Leanne is still mad at Tucky about letting that guy shoot off the tip of her finger, she pees in her yellow drink that she's passing out to people and just has set out to making Tucky's life a living hell because she's mad at her. I get being mad, but don't pee in people's drink. That's gross. The fight breaks out over the stolen coffee that the Leanne and Angie had, and now they have destroyed the Creative Commons, I'll call them. They've destroyed the Creative Commons. Nobody's being friends anymore, all because of some stolen cold brew. Episode 8, Red and Blanca set traps for Piscatella. They've been texting him from Humphrey's phone, telling him, come in, I'm safe, come get these people, because they want to kill him and have him out the way because they know he's the one who set Bailey up to kill him, Poussey. So they're all like, okay, let's get him, let's kill him, and then we'll be done with everything. But they're setting traps for him, texting him. I personally didn't think that this was going to end well, but okay, to each his own. And we get some backstory on young Daya. And young Daya was actually played by Dasani, who is Daisha Polanco's daughter. So young Daya is actually young Daya. I thought that girl looked a lot like her. All right, and we found out, you know, that she was having problems with her mom. Her mom ain't never really been a good mom, but whatever. Judy King and Alita Diaz end up on a TV show together, and the interview gets kind of heated. Judy spills the beans that an inmate shot a guard, and this is all new news because nobody knows that Humphrey was actually shot. Nobody knew that outside of the prison. And I think a couple of like the people in the mayor's office, the governor's office, they were keeping it under wraps. Nobody knew he was shot outside of the circle, and she just leaked that right on TV. And when they were saying, the interviewer asked her who shot him, and she was like, I don't know. Looking at Alita, it's a Spanish girl who doesn't speak Spanish. You know, the one with the big lips. And Alita's face was just stuck because she knew exactly who that was. Shut her right on up too. Tasty is now in talks with Figueroa. They sent in the girl Fig. Tasty's in talks with Figueroa, and she knows the only way to get to Figueroa is possibly by bringing in Kukudio. We're gonna worry about that. The Nazis and the meth head girls crew, they blocked Tucky from using the bathrooms. And what Tucky ended up having to do was go pee in a corner, and they even came in there to bother her as she was trying to relieve herself in a corner. Like, didn't your mama ever potty train you? Didn't she raise you right? It was kind of bad. When Daya does call her mother goes ballistic on her. And Daya's like, but you was never a good mom. And I mean, just went, it was a very bad, toxic family situation. And I just felt bad. Suzanne has been playing with the guards. They wanted to keep her busy, so they brought in the guard hostages for Suzanne to play with. Suzanne's been playing with them like they're Barbies, and they're having gay old times and everything. And finally, the Hispanic guards are needing them back. She doesn't want to let them go, but they're insistent on taking them, on repoing them. So what they end up doing is tying her to a bed and then leave while she's begging and pleading. And I promise you, it was some of the saddest stuff I've ever seen. Uzo Aduba is really, really working this role this season. I say it every time, but she's getting better and better. Tucky fights back against the meth heads, and now they want her to be locked up, and everybody's hollering, poo, 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 because they want her in the porta potties. That is so gross. Blanca sets up some type of a Home Alone trap for Piscatella with slippery liquid, probably dish soap, and tacks, and ends up slipping and falling on herself, has a whole bunch of tacks in her back. And she's also trying to hook up like some jumper cables to something and make sparks. She almost electrocutes herself. Daya calls Pornstash's mom and tells her, and she was like, you know, and the mom's telling her, I'm so sorry, I couldn't call you after the baby died. You know, I was just, and Daya comes in like, it's a lie, she's alive. And my mother told me to tell you that because, you know, pretty much they didn't want you to have the baby, but she's yours if you want her. This is her name, Armaya. And she's like, oh, Mariah. She's like, Armaya. You got to learn to say it right. You got to make the teacher say it right. That's her name. And meanwhile, in the back, Porn says, Mama, let me speak to her. Mama, oh my God, Mommy. And she was like, you know, it's part of your probation. You can have no contact. He's freaking out. This is my family. So the mother does agree to take Armaya, and Daya has now made peace with the situation that her baby is going to be raised by some good people. She says, you know, I'm not going to tell you how to raise her, but when she gets older and wants to do things her own way, you know, let her have some space. When she's walking, learning to walk, don't always catch her. let her figure out some stuff on her own, and that was good. Lo and behold, Tucky does end up in a porta potty, and Daya prepares to turn herself in. Now, Mendoza makes a call to see if she can get to see her sick son. She makes a little bit of a deal with the devil on this one. And Daya turns herself in, and her mom shows up at the prison acting a fool. Don't tell him nothing. Don't say nothing. I'm your mother. Listen to me. Daya just gets in the backseat of the car, and it's just like, I ain't got nothing to say. And while all of this is going on, Piscatella is breaking into the prison. Y'all ready to read these files? Let's read them, because it gets good from here. Episode 9. Piscatella rolls up on Blanca as she's trying to set all these traps. She doesn't even know what's going on, but when he makes himself known to her, she does not go down without a fight. My girl. And I mean, it was a fight. It was a really good fight. He's in his riot gear, but she's a good fighter. And in the end, he does get the best of her, but he got some battle scars too. Good job, Blanca. Red wakes up in a panic knowing Piscatella is coming, because they're the ones who sent him a text message that said, come after sundown. You can't invite this man to your house and then not be fully ready when he gets there. Gloria calls the governor and asks, and he asked her to sell out in order to see her son. He wants all the hostages released, and then he'll let her go see her son Benny, who's in the ICU with this big head trauma. Daya turned herself in, and like I said, her mama showed out. Tasty is still in talks with Figueroa. Piscatella lures Nichols into one of those broom closets that everybody was always using drugs in or having sex in. And I'm starting to notice, he's just picking people off one by one. All the key players picking them off. Angie and Leanne, also known as the meth heads, have taken to torturing Suzanne. They painted her face white, put all this weird makeup and stuff on her while she's tied up, and just kind of being really, really cruel because they're high. Nichols, before Piscatella got a hold of her, had been nursing Red back to health from this horrible hangover that she had. And when she doesn't return with the ice that Red wanted, Red sets out looking for her. Well, she finds the ice on the floor and knows then that something is up and Piscatella is out there. Cindy is walking down the hall, minding her own business, kind of singing to herself when she hears the phone ringing and decides to answer it. This ain't always a good move. When she does answer it, it's someone saying, have you checked the children? Of course, the meth heads are playing on the phone because they have nothing better to do with their lives. As Cindy's turning around, she sees a figure go past the door, and she's like, I see you. But when she comes out the door, nobody's in the hallway. Telling you, Piscatella is large, but he's stealth. Diaz, Daya's mom, calls Gloria and goes off on her. She was like, you know, how's Daya doing? And she's like, oh, she's okay, everything's fine. She's like, mighty funny, because I'm looking at her in handcuffs in the back of a police car, bark, 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 bark. And Gloria shut her down with some, I only had her for a couple of days, you had her for all them years, and you was a horrible mother. And Diaz was more on some, well, I wanted you to at least be as equally as horrible as me, not worse. And I was like, we having horrible wars? I guess so, honey. Nay and Tasty decide to let Kukudio out because they need help with Figueroa. Told you. And they put an air freshener around his neck because he's been in the poo and he stinks horribly. They take him in there, and of course, him and Figueroa get to doing their weird love-hate thing that they always do. Big Boo and Linda meet up to make out, but don't realize that they're being watched by Piscatella. Linda goes into a room for something, can't even remember what it was, and Boo is on the other side, and next thing you know, Linda comes back out into the hallway and looking for Boo, and you can see Piscatella dragging her down the hallway on that side. He's really picking off the major players, and it looks like he's going for Red's family. Speaking of Red, Red goes to Alex and Piper to plead with them because she knows that Piscatella is coming and something's up because Nichols hasn't been back. Of course, they don't believe her, and Red thinks she's crazy because she's fresh off of that dope. And not only was it a downer, but Blanca gave her some vitamins before all of this stuff happened, and now she was on some speed. Medical speed, but still speed. She eventually finds Frieda's map from the invitation when she invited all the lunch ladies down to the bunker. She makes her way down there. On the way, Piper and Alex are in the shower preparing to do some weird shower sex or whatever because Alex hasn't taken a shower in forever and she's funky. And Piper leaves out to go get something. Next thing you know, the curtain falls out and Piscatella now has Alex. By the time Red gets down to the locker that leads to the underground bunker, she looks in there and realizes there's everybody in there tied up. Nichols, Blanca, Boo, Piper, Alex, everybody's in there tied up and they all look drugged or knocked out. As Red is attempting to cut Nichols loose, Piscatella appears in the background and we prepare for a fight because you know, it's gotta be a fight, right? Episode 10. Piscatella now has Red hostage and he is torturing her in front of the other captives, you know, her daughters. We get a little backstory on Piscatella and we see that he was in love with a Hispanic inmate at his former prison, but that inmate was raped and beaten by some other guys, so he locked up one of the assailants in a shower on full hot and left him there. So evidently he died and that's when he got fired. Suzanne is washing her face and having a mini meltdown. Every time we see her, she slips a little farther and a little farther away. She finds her ex-girlfriend in the bathroom looking really bad and she decides to get her down to medical for help. You like that wound she's got on her face is now crusty and infected looking. There's pus coming out of the bandage. Does not look good for the sloth looking girl. Gloria convinces the two girls guarding the guards to go get some rest, take a nap. I got this. She's doing all this because she's got something up her sleeve. No telling what that could be. Frieda finally has to tell the lunch ladies in the bunker to stop touching her stuff. They're like looking at pictures of her parents, they're reading on her old postcards, and she's kind of done with that foolishness. Piscatella now has Red captive, he's pimp slapping Nichols, and he grabs a knife and puts it to Red's throat. The kitchen ladies think they hear a scream, but they're not sure because it might be rats. He starts cutting Red's hair down to the scalp, even cutting off some scalp. He cut out the whole center top of her head and now it's bloody, couple strands here and there. She's left with like this weird edges only kind of hairdo in order to shame her in front of her daughters. The meth heads try to get Leanne's fingertip attached, but the nurse can't do it because it's been detached too long and it's got like some Cheeto bits around it. Ew. Pennsatucky and Linda share a moment singing in the porta potties. They were singing, I think, the Big Red Gum commercial. And Kukudio and Fig debate on reinstating the GED program that the ladies loved and it got taken away from them. She said he's the reverse Midas. He has a reverse Midas touch. Everything he touches turns to crap. Ouch. Tasty decides that she's done with all this bickering and love-hate that they got going on and demands that they get back down to business. Piper gets the tape off of her mouth and yells for help, and the kitchen ladies actually hear him this time, but Frieda resists helping. Norma convinces her to help. You know, Norma's the one who doesn't talk. Norma convinced her to go help. Gina went up and was looking and recorded it on her phone, and they can see that he's really working over the girls. He actually grabs Alex by her arm and breaks it, like just, and you hear it crack and it's just gross. Once Suzanne gets her ex-girlfriend down to medical, they find out that Humphrey is now dead and Suzanne is spazzing out because dead is bad. So now Daya has killed a guy. He's died because of her actions, and this isn't gonna make whatever sentence is gonna happen for Daya any good. While Gloria is on guard duty, she slips them a note that says, "Don't try anything or we all die." She attempts to let them out, but gets caught. The other two who were supposed to be sleeping are now back to protect the bubble and demand that they have to step their game up now more than ever. Linda lets Tucky out, and when Tucky sees the girl who stole Boo, her best friend, away from her, she punched Linda in the face and gave her a bloody nose. Bloody noses was for everybody this season. Leanne and Angie want the nurse to put her finger back on, but like I said, he can't do it. So they go and find the stripper guard because they want to take his finger and have it put on top of Leanne's. But before they do, they want Leanne to test his finger out that kind of way. Suzanne takes Humphrey's body and to find the wizard, but she comes up on Janae and Cindy, who's been standing outside while Tasty, Figueroa, and Kukudio do all of this kind of negotiating and stuff. They won't let her anywhere near Tasty because they don't want them to see this dead guard. So they say, "Oh no, he's fine, he's breathing," and take him to a closet to leave him there. As Gina is taping, she accidentally falls a little bit out of the locker. Piscatella sees her and chases her down the locker into the bunker. Frieda shoots him with a dart, and he's like, that ain't gonna do nothing to me. So then as he's coming in, the ladies pull a line, he trips, and we find out the dart was poisoned and he's completely out. Kudos, ladies. Episode 11. The kitchen ladies are standing over Piscatella's body with the hostages. So now everybody's just all in one big wop together. Red wants to torture him. Nikki convinces everyone, you know, Red's been there for you. We need to go ahead and help her. Gloria manages to steal a hostage under the guise of taking him to the poo, a hostage guard, under the guise of taking him down to the poo. She gets him in there, tells him, trust me, when I say it's time to go, it's time to go. Until then, stay there. She's doing this time and time again, not really mad at her. Allison comes upon Cindy, Janae, and Suzanne with Humphrey, and she's like, yo, he dead? And Suzanne calls Cindy a liar for telling her that he was alive. It just gets bad because y'all know how Suzanne gets when she's really upset. The bunker crew get Piscatella into a chair for potential torture. It's raining outside, and now the peaceful camp now has to come back inside, and everybody's like, oh, here y'all come? Yeah, here we come now because it's raining on our beds and we can't do it. Ruiz is still outside, like, but no, it's a vinyl mattress. We can still do this because remember, she's trying to keep her nose clean now because she thinks she can get out. While Ruiz is out there trying to convince people to stay, she sees Gloria outside the porta potty talking all kind of weird like somebody's inside. She's a little suspicious. Cindy, Janae, and Allison try to explain death to Suzanne, and she freaks out even worse, trying to go to the better place, you know, wanting to know more about the better place and where people go and how can bad people go there if Poussey is there. The Hispanic girl guards who have been watching over the bubble are now sniffing coffee to stay alert so that they don't have to take naps and go to sleep and get tired. Gloria hauls off a disobedient guard to the poo, 1, 2 at a time. She's really stacking them up to the point where Luschek is the only one that remains. Luschek, you remember, he's like the stonery one. It's kind of dumb, but he knows stuff. So yeah, he's the only one that remains now in the bubble. Cindy tells Tasty about the guard and Suzanne, and Tasty doesn't want to hear it. She's got stuff going on, trying to get justice for Poussey, negotiations, yada, yada, yada. Cindy feels let down by this because she feels like Tasty is not really all about Poussey anymore, that it's becoming more about what she wants and her demands. Back at Cindy's house, her sister daughter is mad at her mom for not caring about Cindy in all of this riot situation. The mom tells the sister-daughter that Cindy isn't even there. She got moved to another prison a few months ago. She just didn't want to bother with that. And the little girl was like, you're such an effing liar. And she was like, what are you talking about, Willis? And then she shows her the phone, like, but she right here on this meme video. And she was like, ugh, and she just turned and walked away. Yeah, so Cindy's been feeling it when she hears people talk about their children because nobody knows she has this daughter but us, because we get to see the backstory. The lunch ladies tie Red up in the bunker because she's a little bit too high on this horse of hers about torturing Piscatella. Gina showed her the video of what she got, you know, with Piscatella breaking Alex's arm, and they're like, bingo, this is what we needed to prove that he's been abusing us, and you're a genius. Lorna has been playing doctor over in the dispensary, not giving people medicine and things like that, like took Suzanne off her medication because she didn't feel she needed it. But Cindy goes to fake Dr. Lorna to get some medicine so that she can get Suzanne's pills to give them to her. And she's on some, yeah, no, I took her off of those. So Cindy pretty much had to dang on rough her up and steal whatever she could. I think she took some lithium and she's got to go give it to Suzanne to keep her calm. Boo found a cell phone while her and her little girlfriend are in the bathroom term steam room, found Linda's cell phone, and she saw pictures of Linda and Kukudio, and now she knows the truth. The bunker crew chastised Red for luring Piscatella into the prison in the first place, and everybody argues in the bunker. It's getting bad. Pointing fingers, hollering, whole nine. Morello sneaks off to the bathroom and takes a pregnancy test, and Lord, she is actually pregnant. Can you believe it? Gloria called her aunt to talk to her son, have the aunt put the phone up to the son's head before he went off to surgery. He's in a coma. We don't know if he can hear or not, but she really expressed her love for her son. Ruiz overhears Gloria's conversation and asks, are you okay? Gloria tells her what's happening with Benny, and she eventually tells her about her deal with the governor. Ruiz calls her brave. You're so brave. Brave this, brave that. But I think Ruiz is going to double cross her. Can't tell everybody everything. Meanwhile, Ruiz's baby daddy is getting hit on by women in the grocery store, and his mother is like, stop running off women and stop trying to be true to Maria, and she in jail. But he don't want anything to do with anybody else. He's staying true to Ruiz, and I'm not mad at him for that. Boo is pissed at Linda because she knows the truth. She confronts her with the cell phone and all the evidence, and she's just like, what can you say when it's right there in your face? Suzanne is destroying the ceiling. She's up on the top bunk, ripping out the ceiling tile thingies and saying that she wants to go to heaven, the better place. And I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. It was pitiful. Promise y'all, she's working this road this year. Cindy tells her that she needs to take her medicine. It's time of day. You're going to have to take your medicine if you get a shot. Really trying to get her back on her routine. Cindy goes to give her the pills. Suzanne looks at Cindy and says, will these make me good? I promise you, Uzo is murdering this part this year. And Cindy says, yeah, this will help you. She takes the medicine and sings Suzanne to sleep. Sure enough, like I said, Ruiz double-crossed Gloria and has let all the hostages go. The Spanish girl guards catch Gloria as she tries to make a run for the hole in the fence. She's begging for her life, saying she wants to see her son. Everybody was like, we got kids we want to see too. We could have done that too. They drag her back, and there's going to be hell to pay for this one. Episode 12. The news gets a hold of the video of that Gina took of Piscatella breaking Alex's arm, and the public is outraged. There's now a whole bunch of protesters outside the prison, and it's getting a lot more media attention than probably the Poussey video. Not good. Figueroa tells Kukudio and Tasty that their demands will be met except prosecuting Bailey. Tasty ain't on it. She's like, no, he's got to come with it. But Figueroa's telling her that's not in our jurisdiction. Tasty is mad at the whole system, and it's all or nothing. And Tasty chooses to shut down the whole deal, meaning they ain't getting nothing now. Some of the other things that were important to other people, they're getting nothing because she said no. She sends them on their way, wants them to know that we still got these hostages. Y'all have to do what we say. You have to do this for us in order to get them. Meanwhile, Bailey is on a bus sitting next to a woman who says she's having a panic attack. She's holding the baby. She says, can you hold the baby, while I get a water or whatever. She takes some, I think she took a pill, but she drinks a sip of the water, and he's like, it's okay, rocking the baby, looking a mess. And, he told the woman that he was horrible. He looks half dead, but that he killed someone. And she's like, okay, I'll take my baby back now. Why did you give your baby to the stranger? Well, okay, girl, whatever. Piper tells Alex that she wants to go and get Alex some medicine for her arm. Alex accused her of being nosy and then was like, just go, just go. So she went. The Hispanic guards are preparing to prosecute Gloria for the wrong that she did, and they lock her in the bubble with loose check and took her phone. So now she can't even get the call saying if her son is okay or not. The one Hispanic guard who was guarding the bubble is now feeling the effects of snorting that coffee. She threw up on the floor, and it was a weird throw up. Tucky sees a hole in the fence that Ruiz left when she let the guards out, and she takes off and leaves. She ends up at the guard shack in the woods. Not mad at her, girl. Get you a little vacation. Boo has a heart-to-heart with Linda, and she sets out to blackmail her. $5,000 to keep quiet. Told her to send it to my PayPal right now. And Linda was like, my phone's on 3% and I don't have my charger, so she's like, we'll find one. Go ahead, boo. Nichols goes to Lorna for some peace outside of the bunker, because ain't nobody really left but Gloria. She goes to her for some peace outside of the bunker, and Morella tells her that she's seeing things because her tests are positive. Lorna has taken now about 12 pregnancy tests and they're all positive. And Nichols was like, nah, fam, you're pregnant. And Lorna goes off like she's in disbelief, and she seems really worried because she's worried about what kind of life the baby is gonna have when she's not there, and the daddy don't even want to be bothered with her. Because a couple episodes ago, she held up a sign to her husband that said lasagna in the oven, and he took off running and got in his car and drove away. And what was her Vinny doing? Vinny was leaving you. And she feels like he left her and doesn't want the baby. Now, remember last season, she accused him of sleeping with her sister. We all know Lorna got a little problem, but now is not the time for you to run off when there's a kid involved. Ruiz is out with the hostages, wearing a little blanket, you know how they put on you after some type of trauma, and she says she released them for the deal that Gloria had. Well, the rep from the governor's office is like, what deal are you talking about? Because remember, Gloria made this deal with the governor, not the rep. And she was like, I'm sorry, but you know, I don't know nothing about no deal. That's what you get when you double cross people. You don't always get what you want. So she got the good old, I'll see what I can do. Yoga said this to Alex, and I found it to be amazing. You can't tell someone to go and then blame them for leaving. Because she got mad because Piper left her. Red has been questioning her humanity. She tries to give Piscatella some water. He spits it out. She now realizes she doesn't have to be a human with him. He's deserving of whatever he gets. Bailey was on a bus going somewhere. Found out he was actually going to Pusey's parents' house. And he gets there and he confesses, and her father rejects his apology. He said to him, live with it for the rest of your life. That's your punishment. And Bailey just looks like he wants the floor to suck him up, turn into lava, and kill him something. This boy don't look good. Boo rats out Linda to the ladies in the cafeteria, and they pull a straight up carry on her. They start throwing everything at her. Shoes, books, whatever they got, they're throwing it at her. She's crying, covering her head, you know, doing all that foolishness. Not working. They're mad because their crappy situation is a direct result of your job and what you've done. Piper sees her mom standing outside with the protesters, goes up to an office and calls her mother on the phone, and they just have a really nice conversation. Piper flashbacks to lame Larry, not even going there because I don't care. The Hispanic guards are now puking and pooping all over the place due to the coffee intake that they've been sniffing up their noses. Don't do that. And they now think it's time to come clean with Tasty and the crew about losing their only leverage, the guard hostages. Kukudio is now out and about because of course he's been let go, and he and Figueroa tried to grab a little quickie before the press conference, but they get busted. The lady from the governor's office opened the door and let them know that Tasty doesn't have the guards and didn't authorize the release of the guards. An inmate did so now they'll have to end it their way. Gloria's in there talking to Lose Check while they're in the bubble, and he explains to her that he knows what the procedure is her son has, and it has a really high survival rate. She's talking about how she wants to be a better mother, and he's just reassuring her that everything is going to be fine with her son. Nichols calls Morello's husband on the phone because he ain't been answering Morello's calls since she said she was pregnant, and she gave him the lowdown on how to really love Lorna, and I think that that was really cool and selfless of her to do that for her. And she told him to do the right thing by her. This woman's taking 12 pregnancy tests. Dude, you got a baby growing over here. He thought that Lorna wasn't really telling the truth, but now he knows it, and he's kind of like, oh my God, I'm sorry, I was a butthead. Bailey is heading back to Lichfield, the city, looking a mess, talking to people in the bar. I thought he was gonna jump in front of whatever bus or train, but now he's going back, hopefully to turn himself in. Tasty goes to finally check on Suzanne, who's passed out because of that lithium, and she gets mad at Cindy, and Cindy is like, dude, you left me with this situation and told me to handle it. What did you think I was supposed to do? So now Suzanne is like in a coma from the medicine she's taking, and the two Spanish guards come in to tell them that the real actual guards are gone and they don't have any type of bargaining chip. Piper comes back down to the bunker to make up with Alex and asks Alex to marry her, and Alex says yes. Outside, we see guards putting on riot gear, preparing to move in. Tasty can't hold them off and takes off running. That's the end of episode 12. Episode 13, the final episode. Guards bust in with tear gas and tase Janae with some kind of electric shield. Allison takes off her hijab, which let me know that she thought they would be worse toward her because of her hijab. That hurt my feelings because it's true. The way these guards come in, it looks like some kind of weird, crazy ethnic cleansing. All of this has happened in just 4 days. Pusey's only been gone for 4 days, and this whole season has happened. Frieda says that they should all stay put because she can hear the people coming through the door using explosives to bust open doors. She can hear, she says, let's stay put, stay out of it. Some want to leave. Gina panics and leaves. Yoga Jones leaves. Tucci, the Italian lady who's always complaining about her knee, she leaves, and Norma leaves too. Now the guards storm the chapel and they hurt the one inmate that's always crying. You know her, she's always crying, and I think her name is actually Crying Inmate. They hurt her, they rounding up, they're going room by room, rounding everybody up, sending them out to the line and putting them on the line. Tasty runs to alert Cindy, and then they panic because they don't know what to do with Suzanne. Cindy takes off and says, hold on, I'll be right back. You stay here. She runs, goes to the closet where they stored Humphrey's body, dumps him out the wheelchair because he don't need it, and then takes the wheelchair back so that they can move Suzanne probably down to medical. Maritza and Flocka make peace with the fact that this is going to be their lives, and they're now recording YouTube vlogs and everything in the office, you know, one last time for the one time. And the crew comes in, shoots a pellet or something up in the ceiling, burn Maritza in her eyes. She's more spazzed out about the fact that you've taken away some of her beauty and not her actual eyes. The bunker crew sit and wait it out. You know, they've got 3-4 people who left. They're gonna wait it out and just see what they can do, talk amongst themselves, I guess. Cindy and Tasty take Suzanne to the medicine room where Lorna has been sitting with Morello, kind of comforting. Morello tells Lorna to go out with her hands up, just say, I'm pregnant, and they won't do anything to you. And Nichols tells Cindy and Tasty, I know where we can take Suzanne and she'll be okay. Those three head out to the bunker. Morello goes, and you can hear her saying, I'm pregnant, and they're like, we don't care, get your pregnant A down on the ground. And Nichols' heart is really crushing because she doesn't know what they're doing to Lorna. They get down to the bunker. It's just the first part of the bunker. They're carrying Suzanne. They're like, oh my God, I couldn't believe we had to do this. And they don't know if she has any medicine down there. Well, turns out Frieda has an EpiPen. So they stab her with the EpiPen, and then they're like, oh my God, nothing happened. But after a while, Suzanne comes back, and she's just like almost Frosty the Snowman on the happy birthday. She just comes back and just pops up, and they were so glad that she was okay and was able to come out of that lithium. While they're all piling out on the lawn, Ruiz's baby daddy then came out there with little baby Peppa. She sees the baby, goes off running. The guards go to make her stop. But the lady from the governor's office convinced them to let her just see the baby for 5 minutes and then go get her. And she gets to see the baby. She gets to kiss him. Everything's fine. So I guess her selling out everybody was okay with that. You know, just 5 minutes of holding your child. I guess so. While they're outside, the Amish lady, who I'm assuming is Leanne's mom, because we all know Leanne's Amish, goes, oh my God, the building's on fire. Is that smoke over there? Dun, dun, dun. We find out that Angie and Leanne are in the bubble burning files, ripping up stuff because they want to be seen as the good guys. The Riot Gear people come in there to get them. They're like, hey, we're the good guys, we're the good guys. And they're like, yeah, whatever. And they get the same treatment everybody else gets. The Nazi section has been boarding their stuff up, making sure that nobody can get in. When they do bust through the door, the girls don't go down without a fight, but they all get caught anyway and put into human tacos. While they're outside rounding up who they can, they bring out Lorna. Lorna's husband sees her, jumps the fence, runs toward her. He gets tackled not too far from her, and he declares his love and how he's never going to leave her and he's going to be there for her. So she's kind of excited about that. Tucky is watching all of this go down from the guard shack via TV because she ain't in on this mess. And Donuts comes over and they just sit down and watch TV together and have a really real moment where it's not guard, prisoner, it's nothing weird about it. They're just two people sitting there watching TV, and for once I was happy for Tiffany's life and where she ended up. Kukudio is out here pissed at the treatment of his inmates, and he's not liking the fact that everything that they said is now off the table and they're treating them kind of like dogs. How could you not have expected this? In the meantime, Tasty, Suzanne, and Cindy have made it from the little entranceway of the bunker down into the old pool, and they are excited, like this is all we ever needed. Suzanne's like, y'all got Frogger? And they was like, had we known that, we could have had her down here this whole time playing Frogger and out of everybody else's hair. Tasty sees Piscatella and is nuts because she knows that all of this is his fault. She grabs Frieda's gun and goes for him, puts it to his head, and demands that he gives her answers, and all he says is, "I'm sorry." She puts the gun to his head. He's like, "Go ahead, try it. It ain't gonna make you feel no better." And she tells him to shut up and then breaks down in this epic cry and just says, "I miss her so much." She's crying. They're trying to shush her because the people are upstairs. Red comes over with some scissors, and I'm thinking she gonna cut something off of him, and she actually cuts him loose and tells him, "Don't you touch nobody, don't you destroy nothing, get out." And he just leaves to go out. The crew is upstairs with their riot gear. They throw some smoke bombs down the hall, and when they do that, it fills up with smoke, and they've been told to aim for the ceiling, shoot the pellet up in the ceiling so it'll rain down whatever badness that is that hurts people's eyes, like he did with Maritza. And they throw it out there, hallway full of smoke. Piscatella steps out and goes, "Hey," and the nervous little guard shoots him right in the eye with whatever that was he had in his gun. Piscatella falls to the ground and he's dead. The women realize that they are now stuck in the bunker, and they're all like, "Frieda, what do we do?" Because of course Frieda's the survivalist leader. And she says, "We keep our dignity." They stand up, they hold hands, and they wait. The guards outside are dividing people on buses and sending them different ways. They split up Flocka and Maritza, and they're all crying like, "No, we need to be together." There's different buses for different prisons, and they said, "Do you think we would keep all y'all together?" Lorna's on a bus. I think I saw So-So on the same bus with Lorna, but everybody is just farmed out and split up. It was really like separating whole families. The women in the bunker are Suzanne, Cindy, Tasty, Frieda, Red, Piper, Alex, Blanca, Nikki, and Gloria. They're all holding hands, preparing to face the guards, holding their breath. The door blows open with all the explosion and everything, and the screen goes orange, and that is the end of season 5. All right, let's talk about a couple things. I'm gonna need to know how this show is gonna continue with everybody farmed out in different prisons. Could be like that one season when Piper was in a different prison with everybody for a little while, maybe. I already know Piscatella's dead. Bailey's gonna die. He's gonna kill himself or something. And there's a possibility of one of the ladies that was down in the pool dying as well. Don't know who, but there's a possibility that one or two won't come out of this situation. Lorna's baby, don't know where that storyline is gonna go. Where is Daya gonna be? Is she now just gone? Because she's got a body on her now. She doesn't have just like some petty little drug something. She's got a body on her now. Where's she gonna go from that? This season left so many open questions that I need answers to. Not knowing how to pull that up, but listen. This has been an amazingly long video. This season to me was not as riveting as last season or the season before. I think season 3 might have been my favorite. However, it was good. I can say that it didn't really get good till probably episode 9 or 10. If you want to watch it, go ahead and watch it. If the recap was good enough for you, that'll be fine. If I missed something that you still want to talk about, comment down below and we'll still talk about it and answer questions. You can get my feels about something, what I thought about something. Also, in the bottom is going to be links to everything that I'm doing now since I've been away. Probably will record a video explaining where I've been. I've been busy, people. I'm not SheBusy for no reason. I'm busy. But yeah, we'll talk more about season 5 down in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.